Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. Happy Wednesday to all of you. It is February 3rd, 2021 as I'm broadcasting to you live, and I have a fun fold card. Yay! Oops, I think I disappeared. Well, you know, it's not a Rachel video until there's mistakes, so we might as well just start off with one. So sorry about that. It's Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. Sorry for the blackout all of a sudden. Yeah, I was trying to hit some other screen and I did the wrong thing. Anyways, we are going to do a fun fold. It's called a double fold gate card. I want to call it a double fold gate fun fold card, which you could do too. You could really call these folds anything you want. But it was determined a long time ago what the name of this one was, so I'm trying to just stick with it so that in case you wanted to Google it or find it on Pinterest, you can see other versions of it elsewhere. But it is a double fold gate card, and I'm going to be using the true, let's see, what's it called? Love You Always suite of products. This is the suite that my All Stars tutorial group is featuring this month. So if you did not peek at those the offering for the tutorial yet, you'll want to make sure that you do that. Check out the peek graphics that are within the whole little design there so you can see if you're interested in it. I know you will be. These demonstrators that I do these tutorials with are geniuses. It's so much fun to see what they come up with. So on that note, let's see here. What else do I want to mention? Hello, Trisha. Trisha is with us. I can see her name popping up already. She is my moderator. She's the one that will take care of you while we're doing the live because I actually can't go in afterwards and comment on individual comments. It's something that I could do on Facebook, but I can't do here. So she is a valuable person in my world. She takes care of you. If you have questions, I'm hoping that she can answer them. You just want to tag her with the @ sign, and she gives directions in there. You can see her name standing out if you're with us during the live. She has a little wrench symbol next to her. So thank you, Trisha, for being with me again today, being with us. Now, normally my live video will stay recorded, and it'll go into my blog post that shows about an hour and 15 minutes after I start the live, 12:15 Central Time. But today and on the first Wednesday of all the months to come soon, in the following next like 5 months or whatever, our tutorial group has decided to do their all-star blog hop on this day of the month, the first Wednesday. And that works with the days that I do the videos. So we get to combine them. So at 3:00 p.m. Central Time is when this will go live on my blog. So if you're looking for those photos or you're looking for the measurements, the supply list again, that sort of thing, you just have to wait a little bit longer. Now some of that information is in the description of the video, so feel free to glance at that. It includes the supply links and other links that I mentioned. The measurements you'll have to take a screenshot of though if you really want them right away. And I think that's all I want to mention except for the fact that we'll do prizes as always. So make sure that you're commenting, whether you're commenting during the live or you comment after the live is over and you're watching this later on, you get a chance to get in on a prize drawing. On that note, let's look at comments from last time. I'll pull those up on the screen here and we will set up. There we go. So these were some comments that rolled in from last week's live. That's the one where I did all of those little boxes in different sizes. If you remember that, it was a 2-compartment box. So you guys crack me up. Some of your comments that you share are just hilarious. I'm sitting there reading through them. I'm like, I wish I could comment myself, but that's why I highlight a few of them. So you can see one of them, like Jean, she wrote over on the right-hand side, I think it's the 3rd comment down, is that for the Tooth Fairy? I'm going to show you those boxes just one more time, just a glance before we move on with today's project. But yeah, it was super small. M&Ms, Skittles, those would fit. And yes, I was a math teacher, Nancy. Actually, not a math teacher. I was a teacher for elementary, but when I went to college, one of my concentrations was math. So I do have a passion for math and teaching math. And then Bling Bling Crafter, she asked if the magnets come in the clear box. If you want to check out that past video, yes, that's how they came, was in that clear box. So it's a nice little container to keep them in. Some great tips. Kathy shared with me that there actually is a Galentine's Day on February 13th. I thought it was just a fun way of calling Valentine's Day Galentine's Day, but no, February 13th is a day to celebrate with your girlfriends. Just the fact that, you know, I don't know, go to a spa or something. So it's kind of fun. So yay. And oh, Jennifer, I did take care of that. And I actually learned something about my closed captioning issue that I had. I was toggling it, you have like this option to have closed captioning or not. And I was choosing it every time, but I didn't know that there was a drop-down menu to pick between a couple different things. So YouTube took care of me. Again, I reached out to them and they took care of that, and they've put the closed captioning back onto my past few videos that were missing it. So you can go back and watch those. But yes, after this live is done, closed captioning should have up here. It should be there. So, and oh, and I just want to mention too, Julie. Hello, Julie. Julie lives in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, which is just next door to the city that I grew up in. So fun. Okay, we're going to move away from the comments now that you've had a chance to see some of the ones that I highlighted. We're going to bring in the measurements and supply list. So you can see, oh, and I got to get my head, I have to move my head a little bit here. Hang on. There. Now we'll do it. I just had to scoot down a bit. We are doing imperial and metric for you today. Yay! So those of you that deal with centimeters, you have measurements before you on the right-hand side. Imperial measurements basically stands for inches, feet, that kind of thing. So that's what I'll be following because that's what I'm used to. And then the supply list is over to the left. You'll notice that the first item there, Forever and Always Bundle, that by the way, they spell the word "and" in the bundle. Isn't that funny? But the Forever and Always Bundle, that is the combination of the Forever ampersand Always stamp set and the Always dies. So if you buy them together, you actually can get them as a bundle and you save 10%. So wanted to point that out to any of you who are new to Stampin' Up! Products. I think that's it. Now, as far as this sheet goes that I have it before you right now, you can access that on my blog post. And again, description, check out the description of the video. There's a link to my blog post there. But if you wanted to print off this sheet, it is available for you to print off from that blog post in a few hours. And I think that's it. So let's move real quick. I told you I was going to show you the boxes from last week. Just a quick glance at them again. I shared 5 different sizes. I have not yet put this one together, but let me just hold it the way it would be. So there's that one. And then this is the one that I demonstrated. You see that? And then this is the one in the paper pumpkin video that I mentioned. So you can see there's all these different sizes. And this is the itty bitty one that was asked if this is the one for the Tooth Fairy, and totally, yeah, this would be great for the Tooth Fairy. So there's that tiny little box. Again, maybe 2 M&Ms on each, maybe 4, who knows? I'll have to check it out. So let's look at the paper that we're going to use today. The True Love paper is what this is called, and it is black and white. The designs are black and white. I don't know. Oh, yes, I do have all the sheets here. So you can see, if I kind of go between here, there we go. That makes them easier to look at. There's a lot of black and white there. These papers you could color on. You could take blending brushes, and you could take blends markers, you could take regular markers, you could take a sponge, you could take a spritzer, you could take watercolor pencils. You can do all kinds of things. You could brayer on color, you could use a dauber, you could add color, basically. So if you're looking for adult coloring book flowers to color in, just buy this pack of paper. So much fun. You get 12 sheets, 2 of each double-sided design. My sheets are kind of mangled because I have definitely loved them up and have used many of the sheets. But here you can see the flip sides of those designs. These are more subtle patterns, more like background patterns, and these are more like main focal patterns. We are not going to color them. We are going to use them, use the papers as is. So actually, let's bring in, I threw them. let's bring in the one, here we go. We're going to use this design here. It's got a nice dark background and the flowers, if we kind of go like this, you can see the difference between the two real well. So we're going to use this and we're going to cut this to 5.5 inches tall. So I've got on my trimmer here the 5.5 inch mark, and it's 12 inches long in that direction. So 5.5 by 12. So you will have, I mean, if you do 2 out of 1 sheet, which you could get, you're going to have a little strip of extra cardstock there, I think 1 inch. Now with the metric measurements, you're going to have less. And I do want to point out that with metric measurements, this paper, 12 inches, oops, can't see it there, my head's in the way, 12 inches long, is also the same as 30.5 centimeters. What you're going to do to make your score marks easier is you're going to trim off, what did I say? You're going to trim off 0.2 centimeters on the end. It's just going to make it easier to do all the score marks and have it fold into a gate really well. So just keep that in mind that you're going to have an extra cut on this end. Imperial measurements are not. So we're going to now move into our trimmer. And I did write on the measurement sheet to measure or to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. But you might get a more accurate fold if you do 2 and 4 from one end and then do 2 and 4 from the other end, which is what I'm going to do, just in case it's off by like a 32nd of an inch or something. So we're going to go ahead and score here. Got it at the 2 inch mark. And now we're going to move it up to the 4 inch mark and score there. And then I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to score again at, and I'm making sure it's flush up to the top. Oh, did you guys notice this? I just realized I have this on still. I was actually going to wear this as a little joke because you all, well, many of you at the beginning of the video, you mentioned, oh, what is Rachel going to wear today? Is she going to wear something that's matching her kit? And I did. I wore black. I didn't wear black and white, but I wore black. But I threw in a bit of color. This is the closest that I have to the Blushing Bride foil color. I think it's pretty close. If it gets in the way, I might take it off. Is it distracting? Don't ask me where I got it. I actually, oh, you know what? I got it at a jewelry party a long time ago because I thought it was fun. Okay, so we're scoring at 2, 4. I think maybe I wore it once. This is like the second time in my life where I've worn it. Crazy. We have a couple extra marks to do. So if you're going by just the measurement sheet, you want to write this down as an extra little thing. And I'm going to flip it over to this side. I think it's going to be easier for me to see my measurements. I'm going to go to the middle of 5.5 inches. So the middle of 5.5 inches is 2 3/4, and yay, we have a little spot here on the white part of that edge. It's really hard to add. I don't even know if you can see it there. It's right there. It's really hard to add pencil lines or whatever to black and white paper because it's black and white paper. So we're just going right to the middle. So 2 3/4 again. Yay, it's right on the white dot again. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to fold on the 4 inch mark just so we can see it better. In fact, I wonder if I should, yeah, this is where, Rachel, you know, it's tough. You gotta wear your reading glasses. Let's see. I don't have my purple ones in front of me. I don't know where they went, Vicki. Vicki gave me some purple ones and they match better with Blushing Bride, but I can't find them. So we're gonna go from this mark to, and here. Okay, so let me show you this first. This is how the card is gonna fold, like this, okay? And in fact, I'm gonna back up even more. I'm gonna tell you a little story about this. So I was designing a swap a year before I started blogging. So this was back in March of 2013. And I wanted to make a fun fold card because yes, I was in love with fun fold cards even back then. And I said to myself, how can I do it where I have 2 panels kind of, you know, meeting up and, oh, and then I want to do this kind of look. I can't do that with 11 inch cardstock as well, but If I forfeit that 1/4 of an inch and I make it a 4-inch wide card instead, I could use my 12 by 12 paper. So I actually finagled and figured things out, and then I said, oh, wouldn't it be fun to see both sides of the paper on the front of the card? And I don't want this to get covered up, right? So here I've got this so far. This is what I'm working with because I already put the score lines in there. And I'm like, oh, I can only see the black and white dots, kind of dot pattern, when I see that card. I want to see both sides of the paper. So I'm going to trim away some of this. And so back in 2012, I came up with this swap design for this Funfold card and shared it with a gal who does do blogs, Donna Olszewski. She shared it on her blog and people started making it. So I was so excited. But I do have to say that it has happened to me before where people have made swaps or people have made card designs and someone else has come up with almost exactly the same thing. So I'm not saying I invented it, but in my mind I invented it. Someone else totally could have came up with this same kind of fold. So I just want to say that. There have been like 3 or 4 folds in my demonstrator time Funfold cards that I have created in my mind, thinking no one else has created them. I'm pretty darn proud of that. So, all right, so now we're going to do an angle cut here. And you can go from either this one to the 4-inch mark, or you can go from this one to this corner. It doesn't matter, but whatever side of the paper you want to stick with that. So I'm going to go from here to here. And there's my crease right there. And there is my pencil mark right there. So I'm lining those up in the channel of my trimmer. And I'm cutting, okay? This piece is coming off. I'm gonna do the same thing to this side again. If I'm using this side of my card over here, I wanna do the same thing. I wanna pick this corner and line that up with this mark here. Okay. All right, there we go. So I've got those 2 pieces off. And now I can come in. I don't know why I have these on because they're not helping. Now I can come in and I can see that I've got that fundal design there showing. Then I thought, well, why not use these too? So I actually went back and forth on, do I want to add them here like this, which you could do. You could totally do that. Or do I want to follow the flow of this angle? And so I decided to put them here, and that's what a lot of people are doing. If you do it like this, you just have a different look when you open up. It looks more like, I don't know, what would that be? Some kind of design. Okay, so I'm going to go this way. And for this, you'll want to use your multi-purpose liquid glue. When you use a dry glue, it actually makes it tougher to kind of shift it into the right place. So we're just going to add some, just a little thin amount of glue all the way up into those corners if you can. Now the ring's getting in the way. And then kind of through the middle. And then we'll lift this up and add that in this spot. And you want to make sure you're flush with the bottom of the card and you're in this crease here. So I'm looking at this here, and I'm making sure that I can fold the card shut. Okay, so it's better that it kind of puckers out a little bit here, that you can close it. You want to go back and forth when you're adding layers inside tight spaces like that. Let's add our bone folder, give it some good creases in here too, or some burnishing, I guess that's what it's called. So you can see it's kind of puckered. I don't know if you can see that there. It's kind of puckered just a little bit, and that's okay. You want to be able to close it. You want to make sure that this is flush with the bottom, and you want to make sure that this isn't sticking out. So if you have to kind of pucker it a little bit to get it in there, that's fine. We'll add this one over here. I'm taking the ring off. It's bugging me now. It's distracting too, right? All right. I know sometimes I watch videos where people have all this beautiful jewelry on, and I just want to just sit there and be mesmerized by the jewelry. Not that that ring is beautiful, but it's definitely eye-catching. Okay, so that's on there. And again, we might have a little bit of a pucker in here. We can shift that while it's still wet. So that's probably the most difficult part of this fun fold card, okay, is just getting those little pieces on there so that they are flat enough. This is the size that you would need for the metric. And you can see here, for those of you who always say, well, just convert it to inches or just convert it to centimeters or whatever. There is a huge difference between the cards. Actually, the Imperial measurement type cards, the ones that are in letter format, using inches, they're actually wider than 4 inches. They're 4 1/4 inches, and they're shorter. Wider and shorter. The A4 size is taller and narrower, but you can see that we're both about 4 inches wide for this one. Next, we're going to do some parts and pieces for our cards. We're going to set that aside. We're going to bring in our beautiful foil sheet. Now our foil sheets come in 3 colors. Let me pull that out for you. This is the, what's it called here? I want to make sure I get the name right. Love You Always. Love You Always foil sheets. So it comes in the Blushing Bride color. It comes in Sahara Sand color. And it comes in Rococo Rose. Okay? But do you see how much they're curving? So I have kept my container that they come in so that I can store them as flat as possible because they are definitely curly foil sheets. They like to curve. Well, that means you can do a lot of standing cards, I suppose. So I've cut my foil sheet down to size. This sheet is 3.5 by 5 inches. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to use that paper saving technique. We're going to cut our 2 1/4 inch circle from the inside of this. Some of you had mentioned before, Rachel, you should do that. Well, I have done it in the past. I just didn't do it with certain cards. But there's our 2 1/4 inch circle. We need that. This piece is actually going to be underneath a layer of white. And now we don't care that something was punched out of it, right? So that's ready to stamp. And then we need our white pieces in here. This is our basic white. Did I call it Whisper White? Sorry if I did. It's not Whisper White. So we need that. We also need this piece because we're going to die cut from it. So we're going to start working on those. And we actually need to have one other piece of something that has to be a certain size. I forgot to write this in the measurements. But your foam adhesive sheets, this is like dimensionals for the dimensional lover. So somebody who wants to put a whole layer on a card up higher without having the tiny little dimensionals here and there, you can just cut it out of one of these sheets. We are going to do that with this small black. So this is our basic black, and I'm just going to hand trim a piece. And you want to cut your cardstock to the smallest amount that you need, because when you put it on here, you don't want to waste too much of this foam adhesive sheet stuff, because it's good stuff. All right, so now there's a backing on each side. You can see there's a peel away backing on each side. You're just going to peel one side away. Oh, I almost stuck it down already. And that's going to go on the back side of our black, like that. And it's okay that it's not perfect. All right, that's going to go into our die cutting machine. And we're going to stamp on these sheets and die cut from this one. This is a scrap of white. This is the one that's going to go on the inside of our card. And this is going to be part of, it's already punched out with our classic label punch. Okay, I've just punched it from that punch from some scrap, and that's going to get stamped. So here's our Forever and Always stamp set that I was telling you about. Look at the beautiful sentiments, the fun images that coordinate with the True Love paper. And then these are the dies. And what's fun about the dies is that you have not only the word love in detail, you have the word love in a stamp, but you also have this outline. So if you were to die cut this and layer it onto that, you'd have like this. It's really cool. It creates an outline. And I'm going to show that to you today. So this is going to get die cut from the black. This is going to get die cut from that. And then we're also going to die cut a large flower that we're going to stamp. So let's bring in our stamps. So we're going to stamp next. Let's do our large flower and our ink. Here it is. Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This ink is awesome paired up with this suite because, again, if you're going to do any coloring, I highly recommend the Blends markers. Blends markers are awesome for coloring in. They're alcohol-based, and they work with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. No bleeding. The bleeding does not occur. Oh, because this is photopolymer, I'm remembering you don't have to have this because I've done it plenty of times without, but it does create a more even stamping surface if you have some firm foam underneath your image. So I've put it onto one of those Stamp and Pierce mats. You could use, a lot of people are saying you could use mouse pads. You could use the stampyourartout pads. So as long as it's a firm kind of foam. Okay, now we've got our image on there, and that's going to get paired up with this. In fact, let's grab our post-it note right now. I'll just grab one of these little flag guys and stick that on. So I'm lining it all up, and I'm putting these little flags down, and that'll help hold our die in place. And then this outline will get die cut with the rest of it. This is ready to die cut, so we'll set that over there. And, oh, let's bring that back. We're going to stamp the word you, and we're going to stamp that off to the right, like so. There's that piece there, and we can actually trim that down later on. I have like fuzz around my nose. And this piece, this stamp, I should say, is going to get stamped in the middle of our card. You can have it high, low, doesn't matter, but just make sure that it's parallel with the top edge and the bottom edge of the white. Don't make sure that it's parallel with the edge of your block, which is again why I mount my stamps unevenly. I mount them on purpose at an angle so that I'm not accidentally looking at the edges of my block. We already stamped the U. We need the word with. Okay, let's ink up the word with, and we'll stamp that right above. So the card is going to say, love you with my whole heart. And then we'll add just one of these beautiful flowers at the bottom inside of our card, like that. Again, if you want to add color, go for it. I really love monochromatic, and with just a touch of Blushing Bride, you've got a Blushing Bride black and white. It's just stunning. I love it. I love it. I hope you do. That piece is ready. Let's bring our machine in, and I'm going to zoom out just a bit here. You can see a little bit more mess around me, but that's okay. All right, so we've got our cutting mat. Let me just show you the layers here. So when you're doing your die cutting, you want to have the platform, then you want to have the die cutting adapter sheet here. That's going to go number 2, and then you need number 3. The third one is the one that you want to cut into the most. What I do, okay, so you have 2 cutting mats. What I do is I take one of them, and that's the one that I always cut into. My cutting part of my dies is against that. And then my other one is the one that is just on the surface. You can see there's no cuts in here. It's just kind of like pressure marks. And once I've used this one up, where it's just cut up completely and all scratched and stuff, then I throw it away. I know some of you are like, what? Yes, I throw them away eventually. And then I get my one that's been on top forever, and that one becomes my new bottom, and I get a new top one. You don't have to throw them away. You can keep on using them over and over again if you want to, but they do eventually crack. And I don't want them to get to the point where they're cracking. All right, then we just crank it through once we have that sandwich. Move our die cutting machine out of the way, our Stampin' Cut and Emboss, our Big Boss. I used the Big Boss, although with this you probably could have used the Small Boss, the Mini Boss. We have a small machine and we have a large machine. So fun. So there's that outline that I was talking about, like the background piece. And then here is, set that there. Here is this flower. It's so awesome. Way better than fussy cutting, right? Gotta love it. And then this piece here, and it's actually still embedded in there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this trick. For those of you who have trouble sometimes getting your paper to cut all the way through, and this isn't cut all the way through, and that's okay because it's an adhesive sheet. But if you do, and you can keep the die connected, flip it over. And in fact, even move it to an outer edge. So the outer edges seem to sometimes be a little bit tighter than the middle portion. And then when you flip it over, this part is coming in more direct contact with one of the rollers, because in a machine like this, you've got two rollers, you know, bringing everything through. And unless you have it on the bottom, you know, because there's the bottom roller, there's the top one. So I could totally just flip the whole thing over, or I could just flip this over, and now it's more in direct contact with that top roller. I don't know, is that physics? I hope that makes sense to you guys. So now you can see, oops, crank it a little further there, Rachel. Now you can see the cut lines that have come through. See that? It works. So, but because this is adhesive, I also don't want to do a lot of pulling. I did do a card. It was a chocolate, the box in a card kind of thing. I did that for you guys a while ago with this. You just have to be careful as you're pulling this stuff out because it wants to grab onto, it's thick. It's just thick. But now if I pull that die away and this little fuzz there, I think that's an adhesive fuzz, you can see it's die cut. It's ready to put onto that white layer. I didn't need this brush. You may have needed the brush. I didn't this time. That's just that little adapter that you can put onto your Take Your Pick tool, and it helps to remove dies, detailed dies from things. But I guess I didn't need that. So let's bring this back in, and I'm going to make the background a little darker so we can see as we go here. We're going to try to separate this. So it's tough to separate it. Your backing is going to come off. See how that backing, we'll just take it off. It wants to remove from the rest of it. With die cutting just cardstock, this would be much easier to remove, just so you know. So the L is separate. We got to remove that little centerpiece. Hang on. The L is separate from the OVE. There. Stick that onto a scrap over here. So keep that nice and stiff. Try not to move it too much. And you're going to just lay that within the outline. This is going to look so cool, you guys. Okay, can you already see what's happening there? It's got, it looks like, oh, what's the name brand of that sticker? There's a sticker company out there where she does like all these beautiful, I don't know if it's a she or not, all these beautiful 3D stickers and stuff. Okay, so now I got the OVE, but you notice they're stretching a little bit as I pull this off because it's script, it's connected, but it's not gonna stay stiff. So we just have to be careful not to pull it and stretch it too much. Just kind of keep it connected to your fingers. Pull those little pieces off. Hi, Luke. Did you want to say hi? My son is sitting here. Oh, yeah, it's live.
I was going to ask like when you're done because I need to take a shower.
Oh, I will be done probably in like 20 minutes. Real life, right guys? Okay, we're gonna start on this side, and we're gonna connect the E first. I'm gonna zoom in. There we go. We're gonna connect the E first because that's keeping its shape. And then as we come down and we do the rest of the letters, you can kind of just make sure that you're keeping that same outline. I might have to squish this little O up a little higher. And there is my fun, oh, that's really close. My fun little 3D foam love word. Isn't that cute? So much fun. So now let's take and build up the little centerpiece part of the card, because on our card we're going to have this center section that is going to be the focal point that you're going to see on the front of the card when it's closed and when you open it up. So I'm going to first connect, actually first what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up everything the way I think it's going to work here. So I think I want this flower, actually I want this flower to hang down from the middle. My love is going to go across like that. So I'm just kind of lining everything up. I'm going to have my U back here. That works. So I think I'm going to connect the U to my love. So we'll put a little adhesive right here. Since this is handy, we'll just grab that. And we'll connect it to the back like this, making sure that, in fact, you could use your grid paper to kind of check to see if it's straight or not. You don't want it to be tipping in the wrong direction. So that looks like it'll go there. And then we're going to connect the top of the flower, there we go, to our circle right below, probably like halfway down, I think is a good place for that flower to go. And then this, again, you know what, since it is, no, I'll just use this. Just stick this all on like this. And you have to be careful not to put adhesive outside of where it's going to touch the circle. So I didn't put any adhesive over here. I didn't put any on the outside edges. I'm just putting it where the middle will hit. And we're going to connect like that. That looks good enough. Okay, so there's our focal point of our card. Let's bring in our card base again. And this piece is going to go on next. Luke, if you're going to ask me another question, you actually have to be in the video.
No, I have one more.
No, you have to be in the video. You have to come say hi.
No, I have
People
one
are
more.
wondering how my boys are doing, so come say hi. They're all
One more
agreeing.
question. If I close the door, can I make something in the microwave, or is that too loud?
Too loud.
Really?
Yes.
I'm hungry.
Come here and say hi.
No.
Oh. Yeah, because Mom said no. So that's going to get centered in the middle here. And because it curves, I'm kind of like playing around with it here. There we go. So that's going in the middle. And then this is going to go against it on top. I don't even know if you guys heard his question. Because he's my quieter child. He was off to the side. I was trying to get him to come in and say hi. So there's the inside. When we fold this shut, this is going to go here. Notice when it goes there that I want it centered and I want it to not connect anywhere else but that portion. So you kind of have to look at that section of the card and say, okay, I can put adhesive right here. You know what I mean? Like, analyze it before you put the adhesive down, I guess is what I'm saying. And now we can come back in. I'm going to use my bone folder really quick. Hang on. I forgot to do this earlier. Make sure those creases are nice and crisp. Okay, now let's add this to the middle like that. For those of you that are new to my lives, I try to get these exactly or close to exactly like the one that I made originally, that I've already photographed, and it's in my blog post already. So that looks pretty darn close to what I did before. I have a couple embellishments though. I'm going to bring in 2 more items from that suite. I have the matte black dots, which by the way are not orderable right now because they've been so popular that yeah, get them right now, but just keep them on your wish list. We're gonna grab our Take Your Pick tool, and we're gonna grab that gummy end. I'm just gonna squish it more into kind of a molded sticky spot there, and I'm gonna take one of these off. I'm gonna grab one of the big ones, and I'm gonna stick that here, and I'm gonna take one of the small ones. See how I'm just kind of sliding it and lifting it? It's sticking onto the gummy end of my Take Your Pick tool. I love that. Then we'll take about 5 inches of ribbon. I like to tie it on my spool so I'm not wasting any. So, but if you have to pre-cut, you'll probably want about 5 inches so that you can maneuver it. But I'm just taking and tying it into a knot, but I'm twisting this one so that I'm seeing that beautiful metallic sheen on both ends. Okay, naturally it wants to tie into a knot where one is flipped the other direction, but you just have to you have to monkey with it. You have to make it go the way you want it to go. We're trimming the ends. We're grabbing some glue dots. Here they are. And I think I'll use 2 right behind the knot of my knot, the center of my knot. And that's gonna go kind of in this space here between the love and the word you. Oh, I think I have it down low. That's okay. I have it down lower on the actual finished card. So here's my finished that I did before. That's pretty darn close, right? I did it. I got them to be almost exactly the same. So there's the inside and there's the outside of that card. Very fun. Again, the double fold gate card is what that is. I'm going to show you one of my, not my original one, because my original one was done with this flower blossom set that you could punch out. They had like 3 or 4 different blossoms that were in this stamp set, and they matched a punch. It was so pretty. I love that set. So that was my original card. But then I made a couple others, and one of them posted on my blog a while ago. This is the Christmas version of that card. Do you remember this paper and this stamp set? So that was another one that I made. That was fun. It's kind of a fun poinsettia paper. I don't have any other versions with me, but I have links to 3 posts that I've done since I started blogging that share cards like this. One of them I used with a past paper pumpkin kit. So of course I wouldn't have that in there. I want to show you this too. This paper would be so much fun to use for these kinds of cards. This is the free celebration pick paper called Flower and Field, I think it's called. Almost all the sheets in there lend themselves to making this kind of card because they've got a design on one side that coordinates with the design on the other side. Here's another sample from that. Can you see how that would work really well? Sometimes you get designer paper, 12 by 12 packs of designer paper, and the design on the flip side doesn't necessarily coordinate with the design on the other side, right? But this one has a few sheets in there that do. I don't know if all of them do, but a few of them do. So I wanted to point that out to you in case you're going to place a $50 order. Is that the wrong one? That's the wrong one. There we go. In case you're going to place a $50 order or more, you get free celebration picks during this time. From January 5th is when it started through the end of February. You can, did I say January? Yeah, January 5th through the end of February, you can pick free products. And one of them is that 12 by 12 pack of that beautiful flower paper that I just shared with you. Field and Flower, Flower and Field, something like that. There's other packs of paper in there. There's stamp sets in there. And then there's some items that are at level 2, which is free with a $100 order. So you'll want to check that out if you have not checked out celebration deals. That is a good one. You'll want to make sure you're doing that if you're ordering. You can visit my blog at stampyourartout.com to see photos of the finished cards here, and that will again go live at 3 p.m. Central Time, which is about 4 hours after I started this live. And what else do I want to mention? I think it's prize drawing time, so I'm going to put my email up there. If your name gets called, contact me via email so that I can get your prize to you. I was gone this past weekend for like 5 days, so those of you that won prizes last week, There's 2 of you who I still haven't gotten the prizes in the mail to you. I will do that today. You got the pillow boxes and the pearls, I think they were. They're somewhere here. Yep, pillow boxes and pearls. But I do have one more winner that commented after the live for that last or that 3rd set of pillow boxes and pearls. So I just want to put that up there, that's how you reach out to me. stampyourartout@comcast.net. Let's go to the prizes. This was last week's prize. So I'm going to get my screen set up here so we can see who the 3rd prize winner for the after live commenters is. And if I do this quickly, there we go. So congratulations to Deb. Deb Thill, you have won the pillow boxes and pearls. Yay. And now I'm going to peek over at, oh, I have to show you the prizes. Hang on. She may not have announced them yet. The prizes for this time, we're going to draw 2 winners, Trisha. The prizes for this time is going to be a free pack of paper. So I have the celebration picks. I have 2 different 12 by 12 packs of designer paper, and these are the 2 different ones. Well, hey, now I can look at the name. Flower and Field. Flower and Field designer paper, or this one's called Paper Blooms, and the winners will get sent a pack of 12 by 12 paper. Obviously, the winners today have their choice, and then once those picks are gone, the winner for the after live will get maybe a choice, maybe not, who knows, but they'll have paper. They'll have paper. Let's put that back here so it doesn't fall. All right, so let me peek to see. Oh, she's so good. I just glanced. Now, you guys may have seen it before I did, but yay, Trisha, good job on that. Today's winners are Lori, and it's just at Lori in Minnesota. Oh, do we only have one? Let's see. Today's live winners. Oh, Paper Hugs. That's the other one I see in there. Thank you, Trisha, for drawing those winners. So Paper Hugs and Lori in Minnesota. Yay. Congrats to you two. So make sure you reach out to me. I'm going to bring you back to my desktop because I have some things to share with you, some news, some fun news. So there was a stamp set. Was it Celebration 2017? I want to say that was the year. This stamp set was available back then as one of the free picks. And it was amazingly popular. I had it. I got rid of it, but now I have it again. Because Stampin' Up! Is making it available again. It's called Hey Chick. Cute little sentiments, some cute little chickens in there. And they're making it available either singly or if you want to bundle it with dies. So here you can die cut all those little chickens. You can see how this works here. See, I haven't even pulled mine off yet. There's some cute cards out there. So you can see they line up. And this one is a set of 19. I think there's 19 dies in this one. It's called Chick Dies. That makes sense. Hey Chick goes with Chick Dies. There are 19. Look at little corn on the cob. The part that goes with the corn on the cob, the husk, looks like little corn kernels and a stump of a tree and a corn stalk and a little chicken coop, and so adorable. Eggs, so cute. So if you are looking for some stamps and dies that will help you make some adorable springtime cards, Easter cards, that sort of thing, this is a good one to get your hands on. It's actually going to be available with the dies through the end of June. Then, did you see this already? Because this stamp set became available in the mini catalog. It's one of those stamp sets that you can actually purchase, and you could purchase since January 5th, but they partnered it. You see how that happens? See, this is why they designed this, to go with this, which is now available again. And they have introduced a set of dies to go with this stamp set. So this is the only one that you will see in the mini catalog. All the rest of these you'll only find in the online store as far as like trying to find them somewhere in a publication. There's also a flyer on my website. So if you go to my website and you click on any blog post, you can scroll down to the bottom of any blog post and you can click on the information about this, and there's a flyer that you can print off. So here you can see dies again. Like here's that little bent over chicken. That is a funky looking chicken, by the way. This one has the happy birthday in it, a sack of flour, fence posts, such cute stuff. So also Google the names of those stamp sets, because if you do that, or even if you go on Pinterest, you can see some designs that people have already put out there on the internet, because demonstrators have had these in their hands for about a month now. I have not created with them, and I'm feeling really guilty about that, but I will. But speaking of pre-order, demonstrators only can get their hands on this right now. So this is pre-order time for us demonstrators. But you'll be able to get this starting March 3rd? March 2nd or March 3rd. I can't remember. It's in my website information. Okay, just go to my blog. There it is again. Scroll down. You'll be able to find information and a flyer about it. Butterfly Brilliance is the name of this stamp set. It is like a big background stamp. It's all one piece. It's connected. Can you see this? I just got it. I overnighted it because I'm a butterfly fan. So it's all one piece, and after you've peeled these off, you just mount it onto that big huge clear block, and you can go ahead and stamp with it. You can then, if you want the butterflies all separately after you've stamped with it, die cut it. This will actually die cut it into separate pieces. So you can see here that it's not connected. So once you die cut this, unlike that fluttering stamp set that we have, this will make all of those butterflies separate. So you stamp them all at once, die cut them, and you have all those individual butterflies. You also have some, excuse me, some other fun images here. There's like this brick looking design. There's this, I don't know what this would be, little splatters. So like a little splatter. There's a tiny butterfly, another tiny butterfly, and then this one that's more of a detailed look. And then this is like little scratch marks. So hard to see in the flyer, but that's what that is. Then there's paper, 6x6 paper. Now what's awesome about this, and let's see if I can peel this off, is that the one design on the top there that you see, I think that's the one. I can't stand this, I'm so excited. This one design here, yes, this is the one. You can die cut all those at once. So they're already colored for you that way. And you get lots of those sheets. So you look at all those butterflies you can do. You have a fun splatter background. Look at that. Rainbow beautiful butterflies. There's some, are they monarchs that are flying away? There's the miniature version of this. There's some beautiful pink sky with pretty blue and pink butterflies. And on the flip side, because again, designer paper is double-sided. This, by the way, is called Butterfly Bijou. Butterfly Jewelry? Is that what that stands for? Here we have more subtle designs. More smaller prints. So those will be made available beginning of March. One more thing with that. Now this is fun. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get this, but this is also a product that you can get with it. And it is basically paper that has a wood grain texture to it. You can, it's flat, it's real thin paper, but you can feel the subtle wood grain in it. It's amazing. So yeah, and it's got another print on the other side. So if you are not a fan of the wood grain look, you can at least have an au naturel color. So there's that too. I think that's it for today. I talked a lot, sorry. I hope that you had fun though. The next time that I go live will be Wednesday, February 10th, so next Wednesday. Oh, what are the colors? I just glanced over and saw Melanie's comment. Hang on, I can answer that. I can answer that. The colors in this, here, and we'll show you too. Butterfly Bijou has Basic Black, Bermuda Bay, Blushing Bride, Calypso Coral Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Poppy Parade, So Saffron, and it's supposed to say Basic White, but this got printed before we knew that Whisper White was heading out and Basic White was coming in, but it's white. I hope that helped. Yay! I answered a question live. So again, next week, Wednesday, February 10th, I have for you, I'm trying to remember what I have for you because I know I have it planned and I'm really excited about it. I can't remember. It's good. I hope you come back. I can't wait to teach you in another live paper crafting class. On that note, though, thank you for joining me on YouTube. Please click the like button or the subscribe first and then click your notifications and then click like to show that you've liked this video. It helps me out if you interact that way too. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you commenting. I appreciate you watching. So thank you so much. And next week again, February 10th. But now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.